So before we get into whether Jordan Pickford is the #1 choice for England with Shaka, I want to give you 4 other goalkeepers who've been in the England squad to decide who would be along with Pickford. Okay, we've got Pope, we've got Heaton, Henderson and Butland. Which 2 of those 4 are you adding to Jordan Pickford to make your 3 for the Euros for England?
Pope and Heaton.
Pope and Heaton, okay. Therefore, is Pickford a clear #1 for you? For
Yes,
the
he
Euros?
is.
Why? What makes him the clear #1 over the other 2?
Well, what we've seen from Jordan Pickford over the last couple of years, I think he's been consistent in an England shirt. He's been, at times, outstanding, let's be honest here. And you don't see a reason for Gareth Southgate to make a change. Not at this point, not given his performances.
He has conceded a few with Everton. Is that more to do with the defence in front of him?
Yes, and I understand that concern, I understand that criticism. But if we look back to the 2017-2018 season, when Jordan Pickford established himself as England's #1, Everton finished 8th that season, and there were 5 teams that conceded more goals than Everton. And I have to admit, going into the World Cup in Russia, I had a similar concern around Jordan Pickford. Yeah. Was he consistent enough? Would conceding the amount of goals that he did during the course of the season, would that play on him psychologically? Keep in mind, this was a year after he left Sunderland and what happened there and how many conceded and their relegation. And yet still, how he equipped himself during the course of that tournament in particular said to me that Pickford was ready to play at that level mentally. It quietened all my fears about his psychology, his mental state going into or inheriting such a big and heavy shoot.
I think he's pretty strong mentally. What I want to get into with you is use your expertise and knowledge of how a goalkeeper performs and whatever. When we first started working together about a decade ago, you spoke to me about David De Gea and you said he needs to improve his footwork. He's a really good shot stopper. This kid's a good shot stopper. What's his footwork like?
His footwork isn't bad. I think Pickford is a very talented goalkeeper. At times, a little bit inconsistent, but nowhere near you would think for someone his age. I think he's and continues to improve in that regard. I'm a big fan of Pickford. I don't think there's a whole lot more for him to do other than just gain experience.
Okay, if there's one thing that you've seen from him that you would like him to improve, what would that be?
At times, I think he goes after things that he shouldn't. Sometimes as a goalkeeper, especially when you're playing in teams that are conceding a lot, you find yourself chasing, for want of a better term. And let me put it this way, and I'm not accusing Pickford of this, but so for instance, let's say you're playing in a team and you keep conceding from crosses that are coming over.
Okay.
As a goalie, you then think, well, I might as well just come for this cross. And I've seen this happen.
Decision making.
Correct. But not just decision making, but if every time a cross comes over, your defense doesn't deal with it, somebody heads it in, you then as a goalkeeper start deciding, well, I'm going to come chasing every cross and trying to cut it out because it's scoring anyway. And what you end up doing is find yourself in no man's land, and then you make an absolute mess of that decision. No, not saying that that's the case. I'm just trying to explain layman terms what I talk about chasing things. Just at times when you're playing in teams that are conceding a lot, you find yourself, trying to cut out a through ball that maybe you shouldn't, coming for a cross that maybe you shouldn't, leaving a line a little bit too quickly, just kind of anticipating that your defense is not going to deal with it. At times, I think he finds himself doing that. All that being said, nowhere near as much as I would expect for somebody who's playing in a team that concedes as frequently as Everton have been over the last couple of years.
So he's your undisputed England #1, but his backups aren't bad either.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.